Week, when I thought it was actually going to be spring, I came up with this really good recipe. And I then discovered, after it turned to 20-degree weather yesterday and started to snow, that this recipe could be adapted to something that could be cooked too, and could be like kind of a comfort food. So I'm going to show you this really quick, easy, versatile veggie mix. I'm starting off with about 2 cups of cauliflower. I just took the heads and divided them up, and I'm going to give them a quick, so it's about a half a head of cauliflower. I'm going to give it a quick spin, and then I'm going to add the rest of the ingredients. I chopped up 2 small carrots. And I've made this mix not just because it's nutrient dense and has a lot of vitamins like the beta carotene in the carrots, but also because it's pretty. And a stalk of celery here. We don't just eat with our mouth, unbelievably. We also, when you first look at something, think about it. You walk into a room and somebody's been cooking. You're going to smell it first and you're going to say, "What's that wonderful smell?" Then you're going to see it with your eyes and say, "Wow, that looks delicious." Then you're going to taste it. So it's that combination of things that makes me always want to make things pretty. I have 1 radish here that I have cut in half. I wish I had 2, but I used them up. And then same thing with this clove of garlic, I cut it in half. Lastly, I've got a teaspoon of ginger, but I'm waiting for that. I also squeezed the juice from 1 lemon. So let me just give this a whirl and you'll see how pretty it turns. Now you can see what I mean by it would have been prettier with a little bit more radish, but it's still pretty nice. I also am going to add something darker green to this. I had some kale, but I don't have that left either. But in any case, this is the basic mix. So to this basic mix, first thing I'm going to do is put the basic mix in this little bowl. And then, if you, like me, live with a picky eater who perhaps won't eat delicious buckwheat groats. And by the way, when I make my buckwheat groats, I always rinse them because otherwise they tend to look like oatmeal. And again, this is kind of bland looking, as are the delicious lentils that I made. So pop of color really makes the difference. So we got this. Bugsy's very interested. He's run over to see what's going on. I'm taking about half of this recipe out, and then the rest of it is going to be saved for another night when I would like to heat it up. Well, actually, it's going to be tonight that I'll be heating it up. It's the reverse. I'm going to take this and stick it in the fridge for 2 days from now when the weather gets warm again. So I took about half of it and put it in here. And I'm going to do the same thing with the buckwheat groats. I cooked half a cup of buckwheat groats in a cup of water. And I did the same with the lentils. So I'm taking half of that, taking half of that, and to that I am adding the lemon juice. I'll probably pour a little bit of olive oil over this too, just because it's heart healthy and will make it just a little bit more tasty. And I will also add a little bit of salt to it. So that is about as easy a salad as you could make. It's also just now, for the cooked recipe, I will not be adding the lemon juice. Instead, what I'll do is I'll take this and I'll either stir fry it or maybe I'll even roast it on a pan with these other ingredients. Now, for my very picky husband, I have cooked some plain old white rice. That he will eat. And for him, it'll have some cheese melted on top because that way he will eat it. You have to figure out what your picky eater likes and then adapt your recipes for them. For me, this is more than enough. Other thing that you can do, and this is a really fun way to make a meal, again, for your picky eater, or like if my grandson came over, he would love this. These spring roll wrappers can be found in almost any supermarket. They're made out of rice flour. You can see they're transparent. You have to make sure you don't take two though. You only want one at a time. And they get melted, well, they get cooked, melted, I'm not even sure, softened, that's the appropriate word. They get softened in just really hot tap water. So you soften this up, and you can fill these with anything. You could make a stir fry and have it hot and use it like that. You can take something cold, you can add meat, you can add fish, or you can eat it with beans like I'm going to. And it softens up in next to no time. And you can either each make your own or you can make a tray of these. You want to wrap them up because if you make them in advance, they will dry out. Look! And the trick is to let your plate get a little bit wet, and then you're going to roll it up like a burrito. So take a little bit of your mixture. Don't go all the way out to the end. Can you see that? You cannot. There. Don't go all the way out. And then fold it over like a burrito on both ends. And you'll see it's going to be translucent. And that's it. It does not have to be perfect. But look! And with this you can make a nice little dipping sauce. I would take some coconut aminos or soy sauce, add a little bit of ginger to it, and maybe a little bit of sesame oil, and that would be really delicious. Or a tahini sauce, whatever you feel like. But these two very easy recipes will be on my website, The Healthy Food Scientist. So look for that and more, and give it a try and enjoy.